something weird is going on here. We all know that the Nintendo Switch had a problem with shovelware, and I'm curious to know how that's translated over to the Switch 2. In this video, we're gonna check out the eShop, see what they got, and load our Switch 2 down with some of the worst games possible. While everybody's enjoying Mario Kart and Cyberpunk, this is what I'm doing. Drop a like if you enjoy this video. As we take a look at the store here, you can see that they have significantly cleaned it up. It is really hard to find anything out of place here. Even if we go into the Great Deals tab, which was notorious for being full of shovelware, it's got some quality games on it. Maybe we should go ahead and appreciate this now before it all goes to hell. But what I did notice is that we now have a For You tab. I don't remember if that was on the Switch 1. I don't think it is, right? And if we scroll through, there's some shovelware peeking through the cracks here, but that's probably because of all the garbage I've downloaded. Let me know what your For You tab looks like. But even if the homepage doesn't show it, I'm sure we can still search it out ourselves. So why don't we go ahead and look up the magic word here and see what we get. So yeah, sure enough, we still have a whole list of those games. They're still around. And of course, thanks to the power of backwards compatibility, I'm sure that 100% of my library here can be played on the Switch 2. So we're gonna go ahead and pick out some gems, and I'll see you guys after this is all downloaded, and we'll see how it runs. All right, so you can see that we now have our fine selection of games, some better than others. And everybody's talking about Cyberpunk right now, so I feel it's only fitting we jump into Cyber Taxi Simulator. Oh man, we got a good one here. So if you're unfamiliar with Cyber Taxi Simulator, it is a game where you drive a cyber taxi. It's also where you drive around a very small map with no verticality despite being 100 stories in the air. All right, so the right analog stick raises you, lowers you, you use the triggers to go forward and backwards, of course. And we just land here in our landing pad, and let's pick up our first customer. Oh, you gotta push the A button to initiate it, cool. We got an alien, sweet. Nondescript alien with no dialogue, he's not much of a talker. We're gonna fly him to his location over here. As you can see, this is very immersive. All right, we're gonna come down here, push A to activate the drop off, and that's the game, baby. And if we do a little free roaming here, you can see we have a very immersive open world. We have a police officer sitting here in the corner doing nothing. We got a job over here on our phone that we can accept if we want to, or we couldn't if we just want to fly around this city with barely any draw distance. I don't know why you wouldn't accept the call. It's not like there's anything else to do in the city. But after a hard day of doing taxi jobs, we can go to our garage and customize our taxi with the money we've earned. We can change the color, and we can change the wheels. And that's about it. Very curious to know if these assets are from a pack with cars that have actual wheels, or if they're from some kind of hover car asset pack. Because I highly doubt that somebody went out of their way to model this for this game specifically. But I think we've seen all there is to see with Cyber Taxi Simulator, so let's go ahead and jump into the meat and potatoes of the shovelware Switch industry. So the cool thing about backwards compatibility is that it only takes seconds to bring in your old save data, and then you're off to the races, which is great because we definitely want to see our progression that we've made in this game. We don't want to lose that. As you can see here, I'm a little bit of an intermediate to this game. I've completed a few puzzles, but not all of them. If we don't want to do the puzzle though, we can just go into here and we can see what we've completed. And yeah, that's pretty cool, man. But you may be wondering, well, what do you actually do in this game? Well, I'm glad you asked. If the pictures I just showed you weren't a dead giveaway, you unlock a series of photos by doing puzzle challenges like this, and as you play, they'll get progressively more difficult. And I can't really BS you guys, man. If I was a kid that definitely shouldn't have been playing a game like this and I was playing it, I might have found some value in it, and seeing as this game's like $3, you're really not putting a big investment into it. I hate the idea of asset flippers using other creators' content with no changes to it to profit off of, but hey, I guess if they're paying for the assets to put in the flip, it's kind of fair game, huh? There's so much of this I just can't show you, frankly, but you get the idea. I'll give Hentai Girls a 10 out of 10 on backwards compatibility, maybe a 1 out of 10 on gameplay. I know what you're thinking. These shovelware games are looking pretty surface level. What about something with a little more depth? I got you. Let's check out Supermarket Simulation Grocery Empire 3D. There's no way you can convince me that that image is not AI generated. All right, so this irritates me a little bit. It gives me my save progress for all of the games where the save progress doesn't matter. In the game where I built up my grocery empire, I have to start again from square one. It didn't import my save data. Cool. What I will say is this is running really smooth, like a buttery smooth 60 FPS outside of some trees flickering here, but that could have very well been in the original too. All right, let's go ahead and order us some inventory. We're gonna be a cereal only store. I can only afford one case. So in this game, you buy your product, you walk outside, look, there it is on the ground, picking it up, bring it over to the shelf, and then you stock the shelf, and then you set the price and suckers will come buy it. And if you were an environmentally friendly person, you would properly dispose of your boxes, but in this game, I just like to throw them on the ground. Oh look, Tevin's online. That is a name I haven't seen in a long time. Oh yeah, we gotta wait for the strippers to come in. And you may be thinking to yourself, this game, you fucking bitch. You may be thinking to yourself, this game looks a little bit familiar to some other games I've seen, and you would be correct. I think there's just a grocery store simulation asset pack that you can download. Some people have used this for TCG games. We got a grocery store game here. I think that the weed simulator game may be built on this, but there's a surprising amount of stuff that you can do in here. You can upgrade your shop, you can move your stuff wherever you want, you can get bigger stores, you can line the shelves up however you want. You gotta ring the person up, you take the money, total $7. If you don't need to give them change, then they're good to go. Let's give them I can't give him change. Hello? Okay, I think we may have a problem here. All right, I think we got soft locked or something last time, so I reset it and we're gonna see what happens now. And then we'll approve the checkout. Okay, cool. Okay, I think we're good. Maybe that was just a fluke. The biggest limitation of this game is that you can't overcharge them. You can't take their credit card and run it for $100, which is a shame. I see a really good gameplay opportunity to commit fraud and have the police come investigate you. But maybe somebody will do that in the future. Maybe we'll see that in the sequel. And as you can see here, you can move around your inventory to an unrealistic level. You can really break the game and just make it completely unreasonable for all of your customers. They're moonwalking. That's pretty cool. Never seen a moonwalk before. I'm not really seeing the game glitch out right now, but then again, this would glitch out on the OG Switch. It's just not a great game. But if working in a grocery store wasn't mundane enough for you, we got lawn cutting, grass mowing simulator something or another. I think this game is actually a knockoff of a legitimately made grass cutting simulator game, but sure enough, we're in it here, and automatically right off the bat, I can tell that something weird is going on here. The frame rate is a little bit choppy, and when I look up and down, there's like this smoothness to it. For a second I thought I was using motion controls, but no, you can see when I flick the controls and I stop, the cursor kind of bobs around a little bit. You can't just go straight to cutting the grass, you gotta pick up the trash first. Naturally. When you're cutting grass in these sketchy ass neighborhoods, the last thing you can do is expect people to pick up after themselves. I feel like that guy on TikTok that cuts the lawns for free, and I could just see him going into one of these lawns full of trash and having to say, wait a minute, you know what I said about cutting your grass for free? Never mind. Your yard is a dump. Check out this little dude defying gravity. Here's what you do in grass cutting simulator. You start your lawnmower up, you activate your blade, and you get to cutting. Look at those realistic blade physics. I wasn't sure at first, but now it's kind of looking like they may have updated this game for the Switch too, really pushing the hardware. Coolest thing about this game, you can just do a full 360 while you're mowing the grass. And I think this game would work great if the Switch 2 got something like Spotify support. You just turn on some music and cut some grass. Your mom banging on your door to go outside and do chores, help clean up the lawn. Nah, I gotta do that in my video game. But working in a grocery store and pushing a lawnmower can get pretty monotonous. Let's pick up the pace a bit. There's this little racing game on the PlayStation, you may have heard of it. Well, on the Switch, we got Gran Carismo. We got Microsoft potentially putting other games on the Switch, but Sony, they can keep it. Check this out, man. We can go racing the Japan Speedway. No, we can't, because I don't have it unlocked. We can go race in Italy, I guess. We can race our totally not an E30 here against a Lotus Elise and a, how do you go? How do you drive? Oh, okay, it just reset the car. Oh, trigger, duh. I pushed it and I swear it didn't do anything. You wanna know the coolest thing about this game though? Check this out. As soon as I find the button. Yeah, there we go, baby, cockpit view. And it looks like they ripped the dash straight from an E30, warning lights and all. How many racing games on the Switch do you know of that has a cockpit view like this? I can tell you one thing. Mario Kart ain't doing this. Oh, that guy must be broken down, poor guy. Now I'm broken down too. I'm really under the impression that these games are running smoother than they did on the Switch, because I swear that they were at a much choppier frame rate, but I'm not sure. It's not really making the racing experience any better. Glad that I get to play this on my next generation Switch. To round this video off, I'm gonna end this with a game that you guys should actually devote your time to. Cyberpunk is great, but it's not the only game that attempts storytelling in this type of world. I'd love to potentially make a full video on this game at some point, because I played it for a few hours and it's really enjoyable and it's actually really immersive. That may sound a little silly when you actually see the gameplay here, but trust, it's really enjoyable. If you're into story-driven games with a deep narrative and an immersive world, this is pretty tight. And this pretty much puts my assumptions of a frame rate boost to bed, because it doesn't seem like Cloudpunk has an upgrade here. Still got a choppy frame rate, but hopefully we'll see an update in the future. So in Cloudpunk, you're essentially a delivery driver, so this is basically Cyberpunk Death Stranding. And you'll take on main story missions and side objectives as you play through the game, and you have areas like this, like these little gas stations you gotta stop at to refuel your car. But the most striking thing about Cloudpunk is how you're able to drive around, stop, park your vehicle, walk around. The frame rate just went up. This is running super smooth now. Okay, there may be something else to the backwards compatibility here. For context, I'm playing this at 2 in the morning. I haven't seen any technical videos on how this stuff works yet. So there's something interesting going on here. I think the rain effects are broken. They're not splashing against the concrete like they should be. It's just a texture. So your results are gonna vary with the backwards compatibility. It's actually a shame, because the rain effects in this game look pretty cool. You can stop and talk to any NPCs you come across. You can buy items. You can transport items. You got an apartment that you can hang out at and talk to your dog who has a communication chip in him. It's a really neat game where the atmosphere and audio really brings it together. Sure, the graphics may not be all that impressive, but once you hear the voice acting that's surprisingly really good, and you get sucked into this atmospheric world with this really good soundtrack and ambience to it, the visuals that still look good fall to the wayside, and you're just eventually immersed into the world. What I will say is that if you're gonna play this one on Switch 2, clearly you should wait for a potential Switch 2 update, because there's some broken things going on here. Yeah, if we stop moving or we stare at the ground, you can see the rain's moving like it did in the GTA Remastered trilogy. Oh man, that's a shame. This is a really cool game, but there is definitely something interesting going on here with the backwards compatibility, because the frame rate here was really low on the Switch version. As you can see, Shovelware is still alive and well on the Switch 2, and backwards compatibility definitely has some quirks to it. If you take nothing else from this video away, let this be a prime example that your mileage may vary when it comes to backwards compatibility, and which you may run into on the eShop. That eShop might look pretty clean now, but I have a feeling that it's gonna get dirtier in the coming months, or maybe even years. Maybe we'll check back in on it later. Let me know what you guys think of doing that. Otherwise, it's been Josh. Go watch my other Shovelware video if you're new here. See you guys in the next one.